Wait, what are you doing?
It's Halloween. You said we're going to record Halloween.
Yeah, the Halloween film franchise. Not Halloween the holiday. Besides, that's not even the right character. That's the wrong movie entirely.
Sorry about that. We're going to talk about Halloween.
Yeah, so, one of my favorite films, let alone franchises in horror, is the Halloween franchise. I know, Wade, you really like the Halloween franchise. You notice I'm saying the word franchise a lot because everybody seems to think you can make a franchise out of this, and God bless them for trying.
Yes.
But I really think this is definitely one of those franchises that if it was just one movie and that was it, I think it would have much more impact these days than it used to. As it used to back in the day.
Yes.
So we thought it would be a fun thing to go through a franchise that, you know, maybe we haven't watched every installment of, or maybe we don't remember everything, or in the case of one film in the series, which we'll address that elephant in the room, you know, whole new movie altogether.
Yes.
So we decided we're going to go through and we're just going to give our thoughts, memories, what have you, of all the Michael Myers Halloween movies.
We're not doing Halloween 3 because
Right.
it's not Michael Myers, but in its place, we're going to do both cuts of Halloween 6.
Yeah, because we thought, you know, on its own, I think Halloween 3 it's good. I don't think it's as great as everyone makes it out to me. I think it's one of those things where because it was ignored for so long and because it was so degraded that when people did watch it, like, oh, this is a good movie, I think it made them appreciate it more rather than, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, don't get me wrong, I still think it was good. I had my problems with certain things in it, but, like, I felt I was a little let down.
Yes.
So if you want to know how I felt about that, there you go. There's the 3 Halloween 3 fans who are like, wait a minute, I thought that was the only one, that's the only one worth talking about.
You the 3 non-Halloween 3 fans.
Yeah.
This day and age, everyone likes Halloween 3. I think it's fun.
Yeah, like I said, it's fine. It's just...
It's fun.
It's just, you know... I think if it was Halloween 2 and not Halloween 3, I think it could have worked.
Yeah.
Alright, so the first movie we're going to start with is Halloween from 1978. This is the movie that started it all. Not just the Halloween franchise, but the slasher genre as we know it today. I mean, there are some movies that came out before it that one could argue... Psycho definitely comes to mind. But this was the one that really did it the way we know it. This is the one that put it on the map. This is where your Jasons come from. Your Freddys come from. You know, your Chuckies come from. Without Halloween as the blueprint, you don't get all these other characters and movies afterwards. So this one is kind of, you could tell this is a blueprint of the genre.
This is the perfect slasher, I think. It builds the tension. It's also, you love the term of slow burn. This is the perfect slow burn where it takes its time, it's slow, but it builds to something.
Right, and I think in this case, it's one of those things where the slow burn element isn't as noticeable in the sense of, like, it doesn't feel slow, because, you know, you're getting to know Laurie, you're getting to know the world, or I guess I should say the town of Haddonfield. You know, you're getting a feel for everything. It's not so much a burn in the sense of the story. It's more a burn in the sense of, like, you're getting to know everything before stuff really starts happening.
Yes, and, I mean, I don't want to talk too much about this movie because what hasn't been said about the movie. It's got the best ending. This is kind of the breakout role of Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, she did a lot of movies after this.
Donald Pleasance, you know, I think he was mostly a British actor. He was Blofeld, and I forget which Bond movie, but he was the one that's the quintessential Dr. Evil.
Yeah, he's the reason Dr. Evil exists, basically.
Ironically, played by
Mike Myers. So apparently, if your first name's Michael, your last name's Myers, somehow you're associated with Donald Pleasance. You can't do anything about it.
I don't know. But what else can be said?
I mean, great score. I mean, John Carpenter knows how to do music. I mean, his track record speaks for itself.
He's also a minimalistic kind of musician to where like he just focuses on a melody.
He's very minimalist as far as a director too.
Yes.
I mean, you're not going to get a whole lot of like crazy cuts and things with him, but what you get is shot well.
Yeah.
Like he definitely knows what he's doing, but you never get this sense of. You almost get a sense of like he knows what he's shooting isn't as special as other people would want it to be, and he wants it that way. He doesn't want it to be, as crazy or as ridiculous. He really walks and in a movie like this, you gotta walk that fine line between giving too much and not giving enough, and I think this movie does it absolutely perfectly.
Yeah.
And the scares are really legitimately scary. I mean, Michael Myers. I mean, this was the gateway. This was the gateway drug for me for horror movies because I wasn't really a fan at all growing up. Gotta be honest. But this one really it got me because it felt real. Not that realism matters, but it felt real. I could understand what it felt like for these characters, and Michael was just legitimately scary. I mean, what's scarier than someone who's doing it for no reason?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to know why, but he doesn't have a reason.
He also has the blackest eyes, which is something to point out about the blackest eyes, because they kind of lose this idea.
Oh, especially when you get to the 90s.
Oh, I lose this idea of the blackest eyes, the evil.
And that's the cool thing about it, is like you hardly see his eyes, which I think makes him even scarier. I think in an interview, Carpenter even said the idea of Michael Myers was he wanted to make him completely unrelatable to the audience. And I think when you do that, like you don't see the eyes, you see how he walks, you see how he interacts with everything. I mean, hell, he ate a dog. How many people are out there eating dogs? Put your hand down.
Yes.
I just think you have a great villain in Michael. You have a great hero in Laurie Strode. I mean, she your average high school student, but when the time comes, she's a survivor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she never feels super helpless. Like, she gets scared, but she
does dumb things like throw the knife away.
Yeah, I that's one of the things. But you can't really blame her. I mean, that's a lot of horror movies, and I get it. But like, come on, there's got to be a reason why they lose the knife.
It's on fire.
There you go.
It's too hot.
Light the knife on fire.
Ooh,
do something.
Yeah.
Right, and that leads us to Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2.
This is the one where John Carpenter, we want to make a sequel, and rumor has it he got really drunk and wrote this script, and this is where the idea of Laurie Strode and Michael Myers being, spoilers, 40 years old, being related, your brother and sister.
Yeah, I want to believe he was just sitting there drinking the biggest bottle of wine you ever saw. It's like, fuck it, there's his sister, because he killed first sister, so you gotta have that.
Why is he all of a sudden like a hillbilly?
Because he's drunk on wine.
Is it because
it's the wine talking?
Are you trying to say that all hillbillies are carpenters?
No, I'm saying all carpenters are hillbillies when they have their wine.
Yeah, this movie is, I think a lot of people put this really high up. And I think it's, until they get to the hospital, I don't care.
Can I be real?
Just be real.
This movie does nothing for me compared to the other movies. Like, I'll admit there are ones that frustrate me. There's ones I think are okay. But, like, this one just feels very okay, which is not good. When you compare it to where you come from with Halloween 1 and then you go to this, like, it's still got some great moments. Don't get me wrong. It's still got some great moments. But
before the hospital, it's a slog. The hospital is the best part of the movie, and that's really what most people remember us saying, aside from Ben Tramer. And also the fact that Loomis, he shot 6 times.
Right. Oh my God. If there's one thing you know about the franchise after the first movie, Dr. Loomis shot Michael 6 times.
Maybe that's where they got Evil Dies Tonight from.
And you know what?
Because they say it over and over and over again.
Well, you know what happened? They shot that scene 6 times.
But the most important thing about this, and it's very big for the next few movies, is there's a gas explosion and Loomis gets burned. Pay attention to the burn. And that's pretty much. I don't have much to say about the movie. It's fine in a nutshell.
Like I said, there were some interesting kills in the movie. I mean, you've got the woman, the nurse, who was I guess he like drained her blood through an IV.
That was cool.
And the one guy slips and falls. You've got the hot tub drown where like he like drowns her in like scalding hot water. Mm-hmm. That's all that really sticks out to me. Although, fun fact about the nurse, that is, if you're a Spinal Tap fan, and I know you are, the scene in this is Spinal Tap when they're going through the metal detector and the woman with the wand who discovers Derek Small's cucumber.
Yeah.
That's the same woman who plays the nurse. Because I was like, I know this woman. Where do I know her
from? She went from a nurse to airport security.
There you go. I mean, that's the logical leap.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that this movie does well, not great, but well, is it shows off how the relentlessness of Michael.
Yes.
Because when you get to the end, when Laurie shoots his eyes out, I mean, he's blind. He can't see. But he's still, and I'll admit, it looks kind of goofy, but he's still swinging that knife around.
Yeah.
And to me, that right there says everything you need to know about Michael Myers as a character, in that he may not have a motivation. He may not say a word. Looking at you, Rob. But
we'll get there.
But if nothing else, he is relentless. He is an unstoppable force of evil that if he wants you dead, he will keep going until you are dead.
He's the Energizer Bunny.
He really is the Energizer Bunny of horror. He just keeps going and going and going
and sadly, the movies
keep
going
and going and going and going.
Halloween 2 is the spawning of two different timelines after this movie. 3, I mean.
Well, no, 3. No.
3's his own universe.
The other one. Halloween 2 spawned 2.
That's what I'm saying.
Timelines, but Halloween 1 spawned 3.
Yes, but this is we're gonna start talking about the first of these timelines right now with Halloween 4.
Yeah, I give it a lot of credit because they went into this without the original mask, the original Michael.
Well, 2 didn't have the original mask, I don't think.
Yeah, but it looked close enough if it wasn't.
Yeah.
But they didn't have probably the same budget. I could be wrong on that one. But, like, a lot of the things that made Halloween 1 and 2 work, they did not have for this. The mask in this one, while I do think as it goes on in the movie, it's fine, the mask in this one is not very good. It looks cheap. I mean, I know...
It gets worse.
I know in the story, like, he gets it from a discount store, which I'm like, okay, I get it.
You got 2 of them. There's one with brown hair and one with blonde hair.
He did that
in the school.
Well, he did that in tribute to Ben Tramer.
Oh, okay.
Who, as we failed to mention, Halloween 2 was murdered senselessly by a police officer who should have been paying attention because, as we know, the white William Shatner mask was a hot ticket item. So anybody could have worn that mask.
Ben Lives Matter?
I wouldn't.
Okay, we're not. Okay, but what I like about Halloween 4 is this starts the Jamie Lloyd trilogy.
Right.
Well, 2.5 movies of Jamie Lloyd at least.
Well,
we'll get into 6 and stuff.
Well, and not only that, but this is probably of the 2 that Danielle Harris did, who, by the way, is a very underrated child actor in general.
Yeah.
Like, I know she's like big in the horror community, but I've seen her in other things. She was also on Roseanne. A lot of people forget about that.
My girlfriend Christy. I don't know why I call her Christy. Christy. She's a big Roseanne fan, and she told me that. And I was like, what?
Yeah, she's done more than horror.
Yeah. But she's great as a child actor. Just as I forget her name, but her sister, the blonde girl,
Rachel, I think her name was.
I think her name was Rachel or Alice, something like that.
I don't know. I know it wasn't.
She was great.
I know it wasn't Tina.
No, she's great. I think she's a great kind of like. I've seen people say this is kind of a soft reboot of the first one.
You could argue. You can make that argument.
Because they transfer on Halloween. Stop transferring them on Halloween. Why do you keep doing this? Anyway.
Yeah. Stop transferring him.
I mean...
Period. Yeah. Just kill him.
What I like about it is it feels like fall.
Yes.
It feels like Halloween. sadly, after this movie, they retconned one of the best. I'm gonna say now, Halloween 1 and Halloween 4 have the best endings
of the entire franchise.
Of the entire franchise.
I can't agree with. I can't agree with you more.
We'll talk about 5. It has to retcon everything about it.
But I think with Halloween 4, I think the dynamic between Jamie Lloyd and her sister is very good. Mm-hmm. It's very believable, especially because she's adopted, so she has that hesitancy to connect. Like, she wants to believe that her sister cares about her and loves her, but she's also not quite sure, you know? And I mean, when you're a kid, I've never been adopted, but I have to assume, especially if you're adopted at that age, you would be worried about that.
What I really like about it is, and when we talk about Halloween Kills, you see some parallels. You have the mob, Earl, and the mob, and somehow Michael latches onto a pickup truck. I don't know how that happens.
Right.
That's weird. But also you get this dynamic of the boyfriend that cheats on the sister. He was at that girl's house when they were doing the trick-or-treating. Great little payoff there. And they're now in the house together, and they have to defend against Michael. So there's a little awkwardness, a little drama, and I'm like, yeah, I like this. I like where this is going.
And I also appreciate that there was a cop in the room. You know why?
Yeah.
Because cops do it by the book.
Yeah. But I like Halloween 4 a lot.
I do too.
Like we didn't only mention it, but we're going to rank these after we do all these. But 4, it's kind of not a guilty pleasure, but it's a kind of a soft spot.
If you ended the Michael Myers saga on 4, or did something interesting with 5, with the ending, I would be okay. Like, I think it's perfect. I think it as like its own like little trilogy. I don't think 4's perfect. I think, well, all the sequels have their flaws. But it has some interesting ideas. It felt like something different. It felt like, in a way, it felt like a breath of fresh air after, especially when you watch it now. Like, when you go back and watch it now, I'm sure back then they're like, "Where's Laurie, man?" You know? Like, I'm sure that happened.
There's a fun little tidbit that I noticed while we're watching these, and I want to share with the world. There is parallels between Halloween franchise and the Friday the 13th franchise.
Yes.
Friday the 13th is basically a Halloween ripoff. I'm pretty sure Sean Cunningham has said he wanted to make Halloween.
I think he did. I think he actually is on record saying that.
So the fun thing about this is, so they have Halloween 1 and Friday the 13th 1, pretty standard slasher.
Right.
Halloween 2 and Friday the 13th Part 2, adequate sequels. 3, on both of them, they try something new. You have the 3D and Friday, and you have the anthology idea on Halloween 3.
Right.
4, on both of them, start a trilogy involving a kid who has a tie to the villain. It's either, oh God, I forget his name.
Tommy Jarvis.
Tommy Jarvis, thank you. I was about to say Tommy Doyle.
No, Tommy Jarvis.
Jarvis.
Tommy Doyle is the one that's played by 3 different people, and only the kid in the first movie got it right.
Yeah. So yeah, Tommy Jarvis, played by Corey Feldman and other people. That starts a whole trilogy, and he has a connection through Jason to, like, he kind of manipulated Jason at the end. This one is Michael kind of manipulates and kind of corrupts Jamie Lloyd,
right? And
that spawns a whole bunch of sequels out of the trilogy. And the 5th one of each one is the worst one. That's what it says. And after the 6th movie, you have a 7th movie, which is pretty good, pretty decent, not the greatest, and then it goes to hell afterwards. So, and they also have...
Well, Jason literally went to hell.
And they both have adequate remakes. Compared to Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween and Friday the 13th are adequate.
You're talking about the Friday the 13th remake?
Yes. Compared to Nightmare on Elm Street, it's adequate.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that. Yeah. I hate to say it, but I do.
It's perfectly fine. But, yeah, that's one nice little thing I wanted to share. Nightmare on Elm Street does not have any of this.
Right, Nightmare on Elm Street just has a child predator. And speaking of child predators, Halloween 5. And of course, by child predators, I mean predators who are children. What do you think this is? To Catch a Predator? What do you think I am, Chris Hansen?
I've seen. So Halloween 5, I wrote 3 things in my notes. Like, here's Halloween 6. There's Producer's Cut. There's Resurrection, Rob Zombie, all stuff. Here's mine for Halloween 5. I wrote, Tina sucks. There isn't enough Thorn to make the twist cool. And also, popcorn fart ending.
But was it a zesty popcorn fart ending?
Yes. I don't remember anything. Here's the problem. I watched this movie two weeks ago. I think I've seen 5, like when I was 15 years old, which I was, that's 30 years. It was 15 years ago.
Right.
It's been 40 years! It's 15 years ago, and I rewatched it 2 weeks ago. I remember barely anything from this movie. I remember Tina in the woods. I remember a scythe. I remember Michael's mask being terrible. I remember he takes the mask off at some point in an attic. I remember he falls into a quarry in the beginning and someone nurses him back to health. And I remember the ending with the thorn guy.
Yeah, it was kind of like the dude in was it Bride of Frankenstein, where the monster gets taken in by an old man.
Yes.
I think he's blind, so
yes,
he doesn't know what the monster is.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's kind of.
But it's a
and I don't know if it's an intentional or unintentional homage to Bride of Frankenstein, but way to put one of those in your fucking Halloween movie.
But here's where they start teasing the thorn stuff. They have the symbol, the runic symbol of thorn.
Is this the one where you first see the tattoo on Michael's wrist?
Yes. We see the leader of Thorn.
Well, we don't see their face. We only see them.
We see the feet. We see the silhouette. We see the feet. That's all they do, and then they blow up the jail at the end, and that's it. That's all Thorn happens. That's it.
Right.
There's also it's carved into the Myers house wall.
Yeah. By the way,
also if you notice, Loomis's scar burn is just getting smaller.
Well, they address that in the next movie. We'll get to that in a second. But you know who, based on the outfit, like, because you saw the outfit, they didn't have the actor that they wanted. You know who they wanted to get?
Oh.
They wanted to get Father Guido Sarducci, but they couldn't get him. So they're just like, we'll just get some other guy later on. And for the two of you that get that,
I'm looking at you clueless right now. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I thought the joke is a piece of cake, piece of crumb cake. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about.
That's better than this movie. That joke was better than Halloween 5.
The problem with Halloween Part 5 is it's just trash.
It's sandwiched between a pretty good sequel and an absolutely wild 6th movie. It's in the middle of just like that.
Like I think what does it in is the fact that it kind of succumbed to the tropes of the genre at the time, with all the fake outs, with the little too much comedy, a little too much
Donald Pleasance
wackiness,
way too wackiness.
All the characters are fucking stupid. When Tina's serious, she's good, but she's not serious enough.
Also,
I swear to God, if I have to hear Jamie Lloyd yell Tina,
they also killed off one of the best characters of 4, the sister. They killed her off.
Yeah.
Thanks. Can we move on?
I just have one other thing to say.
Ahead.
I think Nicolas Cage needs to get his royalties for his likeness being used for that mask.
I love how, also in 5, I love how, oh, you unmasked him. He shows his face. It's he shows his face in the first one.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't, necessarily. It's kind of done for him, but, is what that
also,
is.
Who left the candles in that attic?
Yeah, whenever candles are lit like that, that's always my first thing. Like, you're telling me Michael, went there with, a Bic lighter and just did it? Maybe it's the Thorn guy. Maybe he's like, you know what? When Michael comes home, I'm going to make it feel really nice. But, so yeah.
Let's move on. I don't want to talk about Halloween 5 anymore.
I
don't know what else to talk about because I don't remember a lot of it.
I don't really either, other than they squandered a great...
There was a
great ending in part 4.
There was a boy, right? That was with...
Yes, there was a little boy who kind of looked like young Paul Rudd, who...
Is that Tommy Doyle?
Who was friends
Tommy
with...
Doyle?
Yeah, he was friends with Jamie Lloyd at their orphanage or whatever. That was I've never seen this before where they're I've never seen a situation where they're gonna have this big recital or whatever, but they're gonna do it in the hallway. What was that? They just... I know the behind the scenes reason was probably like they got a building and they could literally only shoot in this one spot.
I know why.
Halloween 6?
Halloween 6, the theatrical cut first.
Yeah.
Well, the theatrical cut, there are two differences.
There are quite a few differences.
No, I'm saying like there's big differences. Like the Jamie Lloyd stuff's a little different.
It's very different.
The third act completely different.
The editing is different.
Yes.
You don't get a lot of those like flash cuts, where it's like a camera bulb goes off. Also, the cuts aren't as frenetic. Like it's not like cuts to a lot of like different images, which I hated in the theatrical cut, without question.
Theatrical cut, as obvious when you watch the producer's cut that the studio was like, they got really involved in this film. This is like early 90s.
I think this was 94, 95?
Yeah, this is right before... You'll notice the difference between H2O and this. This is pre-Scream.
Right.
Which is also...
This is also
Clueless, Paul Rudd.
Technically pre-Clueless. I think I read that Clueless... I think I read Clueless had come out before it, but Halloween 6 was shot before Clueless.
I don't know. Tommy Doyle was kind of clueless in this movie.
You know what?
The theatrical cut.
I think, I was going to say, it almost felt like in the producer's cut, and we'll get more into that, but I definitely feel like in the producer's cut, it felt like his dialogue was, like, faster and less, like, dramatic pausey for no reason.
So there's a lot of issues with the theatrical cut, for both cuts, honestly.
Neither one of these are great.
Jamie Lloyd got done wrong. Jamie Lloyd just got wasted.
Here's the problem. They did that character dirty no matter which cut you watch.
I think the problem is like they just killed her off because maybe Danielle Harris. She wanted to do it, but they were like, we're not going to pay anything.
Not just anything. Do you want to know how much money she requested?
$1,000.
$5,000, which is like chump change in Hollywood.
And she's done so much more stuff since then. She's like, I don't need this.
And I'm just like, you can't spare $5,000.
So we learned that to cure burns, retire. Just retire, and your burns they start succeeding.
And don't ask questions. Don't ask questions about that, because if you do, the burns will just come back. So just don't even mention it.
We learn about the others. There's Kara Strode, who is 45 years old in this movie.
We meet the other Strode.
There's Denny. Hi, Denny.
Danny?
It's Danny.
It's Danny.
Danny, not Denny. It'd be great if Denny from The Room was in this.
Oh, no. Then he'd really be the next Michael.
There's a whole lot of things going on. I'm looking at my notes here.
There's a whole lot of characters that don't mean anything until they do. Like, you have Miss Blankenship, who doesn't mean jack shit until they need her to be stereotypical creepy lady, and then they need her to be, twist villain.
Oh, there's Dr. Wynn.
There is Dr. Wynn.
That's an important character.
Who's a very minor character in the first movie. If you think that the movies nowadays are, taking minor characters and making them more important than they are, Dr. Wynn started it all the way back in the mid-90s.
We got the actual Strode family, who ironically are living in the Myers house, which is okay.
Well, they do establish that the only reason they live there is because his brother couldn't sell it. Whether that means they're living there for free, or they live there for free, or that means he bought it off his brother because...
Did you recognize the mother in this movie?
No.
She is the mother from Better Off Dead.
Really?
Yeah, she's the one that's the terrible cook in Better Off Dead.
Apparently she's not much better.
She's not good at laundry either, apparently.
No.
Also, we have to appreciate the dad. He gets completely destroyed in this movie.
You're right. Not Biff Tannen is such a piece of shit.
Oh, but he gets absolutely annihilated.
Oh my god, yes. If I remember correctly, he gets electrocuted so hard his head explodes.
Yeah.
You gotta love it.
There's also terrible characters like Kara's friends.
Who don't mean dick.
Kara's brother and brother's girlfriend, that's who they are.
Yeah, they're literally there to die.
Oh, do you remember Barry Sims?
Who the fuck is Barry Sims?
He's the talk show guy.
Oh, yes!
Remember when Michael was at the Myers house?
I know.
And then he ended up killing Barry in, the park, and then he's back at the Myers house? How did he do it? I don't know.
Fun fact, Howard Stern was apparently either approached or requested to play that role. I don't know what happened, but he didn't end up getting the part, and you know what? He's probably better off.
You know why he didn't want to take the part?
Why?
It wasn't private enough.
You know what the real problem is? The movie itself wouldn't show its boobs.
There's also
the DVD case just opens up and there's just boobs.
The biggest difference is Jimmy Lloyd gets in the theatrical cut. She gets killed brutally on like corn, farm equipment.
Yeah, very quickly too. Like it's like she escapes. Michael goes after her, kills the guy who owns the truck that she steals.
Yes.
He eventually catches up with her at a barn, and like it's like he shoves her onto this machine. I don't know what it does, but like it's got a big blade on it, and you're like, okay, she's definitely gonna die, right? And then Michael just shoves her even further on. You're like, oh Jesus Christ,
she's real dead.
She's real dead now.
She is.
And then he turns the motherfucker on, and then you're like, okay, she's definitely dead. Like, that was probably the highlight kill of the whole movie, other than the head explosion. And it's at the very beginning.
And at the end, the last act of... So the twist is, Dr. Wynn is actually the leader with the fedora, my lady. He's actually the leader of...
My leader.
Of Thorn. My Thorn. He's the leader of the cult of Thorn, and they get the baby, Jamie's baby.
Right.
And in the theatrical cut, they go into an operating room, and the cult of Thorn just get annihilated. The cult of Thorn are just basically nothing. And then Paul Rudd has a fist fight
with Michael Myers
in a very 90s lab.
With 90s lighting and
yes.
Yeah, it looked like a fucking Power Man 5000 video.
Yes. This is where it's like good worlds collide, and you just imagine Paul Rudd hitting with
He's
that.
He's like, motherfucker, this is what it's like when my fist collides with your fucking face.
And then we have.
Oh, don't forget the pipe.
The pipe, and then also
he was really laying some pipe on that one.
And then there's stuff like he goes into the maximum security area, the rescue Kara, this whole big long thing.
Right.
And then Donald Pleasance is like, I got things to finish up here, and then
he just walks in and screams,
and then the Michael mask is missing, and that's the kind of producer's cut. It's kind of. You don't know what the deal is. That's the theatrical cut, not the producer's cut.
The producer's cut, you know what it is, and it's fucking stupid.
So the producer's cut is, I don't know how you feel about the producer's cut.
I have my likes and my dislikes compared to the theatrical cut. I definitely think the editing is better in this one.
Things make sense.
Certain things make more sense. You find out that the reason Dr. Loomis isn't burned anymore is because he's had skin grafts done, and that's why he's feeling better and why he's not burned. I can't help but feel like Tommy Doyle's Paul Rudd's dialogue is faster in this way. Like it always feels like he's just very awkwardly like, you know what I mean? Like it always feels like if he's just like, "Hi, nice to meet you." But in the producer's cut, it just feels like he's like, "Hi, nice to meet you."
Yeah. Like,
I don't know if that was intentional
I guess in the theatrical cut they want to make him more creepy. I don't know. He was kind of creepy staring out that window when they were driving by. That was weird.
I don't know. It just felt very unnecessary. Whereas in the producer's cut,
I thought the beginning was
my mistake.
I think the beginning was infinitely better. It does some flashbacks of like what happened in the previous movie. Boom. Jamie Lloyd does not get impaled; she gets stabbed, and
she survives.
And that answers the question of when Tommy Doyle in the theatrical cut and this cut, Tommy Doyle shows up at the hospital to show Loomis the baby, and you're like, why is Loomis at the hospital? Because Jamie Lloyd is in the hospital,
and he's going to visit her. He's going to see her.
It all makes sense there. There's both cuts to make no sense of the whole idea of like when he finds out about the placenta fluid, and they're like, "Where's the baby?" And he's like, "She has a baby with." I think I know what the baby is. Like, did you not notice Tommy Doyle had a baby with him?
Yeah.
And it's like Tommy Doyle basically spelling out she's not the last one, and held the baby at the camera. I think.
Yeah. And
they added some extra stuff.
I just want I can't do this anymore. I have to address the elephant in the room. because not only do I think it's disgusting, but also the implications and why it makes no sense
I know what you're talking about.
to their plan. So for those unofficiated with or unacquainted, that's the phrase, unacquainted. For those unacquainted with the producer's cut, see, in the original theatrical cut, you don't know who the dad is because you don't need to know who the dad is.
Could be Wynn.
Could be anybody. Could be anybody.
Could be Barry Sims.
Could have been the 1978 Denver Broncos. We don't know. But in this one, it is revealed, very poorly I might add, that Michael Myers impregnated Jamie Lloyd. That's right. Uncle Michael impregnated his niece to become Uncle Dad. Now here's where I think this idea came from. I think whoever is responsible for this cut, whichever producer, whoever, I don't think they knew Jamie Lloyd is his niece. And so when they had the idea, they're just like, oh, this Jamie Lloyd, she's an important character.
Well, the producer's cut is the original cut of what they wanted. The studio, obvious. When you see the ending, you understand, the studio wanted a big fight scene.
Right.
That's what they wanted. And that's the biggest difference between the theatrical cut and the producer's cut is they actually have an ending. Not an ending. They actually have a third act that kind of makes more sense.
Right.
The Cult of Thorn actually does stuff. They're actually part of the story and they're just thrown away throughout the whole franchise, the whole trilogy. They're kind of nothing. This one, there's something. They have the cool ritual room. They have a cool fucking ritual room they don't use in the theatrical cut at all. Right. Except for the beginning. So cool stuff. You see, what I really like, and I know a lot. First of all, before we get into the rune stuff, okay. What was the Thorn plan in the end? See,
that's where I was going.
Okay, so hold on. So you have... So they're grooming Danny. We'll call him Denny. They're grooming Denny to be the killer. They're like the new vessel of evil. But then they have this baby. So they're going to kill the baby. What happens to Michael? Is there two vessels of evil? Is Michael just odd job? Is he just going to die?
Okay, here's why I don't get that. Okay, let's say we're doing the theatrical cut idea. Okay, where it's just a baby. Okay, he kills the baby, and then the Myers family is done. Okay, Michael may have to kill himself. I don't know. And then when he dies, it passes on to Danny. Here's what I don't understand. You have Michael, who's a Myers, impregnate Jamie Lloyd, who's a Myers. But like, if the whole point of the thing is the family, he has to kill his entire family so that it will, like, pass on. Why are you creating another family member? Like, it doesn't make sense unless
it's like a virginal.
Unless.
But Jamie Lloyd was a virgin.
Unless.
She was a child.
Unless. I do have a theory. The idea that maybe Wynn wanted to keep Michael as the killer. And so he had... Why... But then that begs the question, why did he need to be the one to impregnate her?
And why do you have Danny?
Well, no, you know what? It actually does make sense. But then again, why did it have to be Jamie? Because then, okay, so if Michael has to keep killing his own children to keep the curse on Michael, then why do you need Jamie? Just kill Jamie and have Michael just fuck your members of your fucking cult.
The old lady. Well, she probably can't get pregnant anymore.
I don't give a fuck who. Just somebody.
Anyway.
There were clearly women in that cult of Thorn.
Anyway,
By the way, can we also appreciate the fucking Thorn signal?
Yeah.
How it's like, it doesn't appear as like a light in the sky like the bat signal, but like when they're when they're checking out the wreckage and you see the big Thorn logo in the hay.
That leads
what are we doing?
Speaking of Thorn, it leads to the rune stuff, which a lot of people don't like. I like it.
It's kind of dumb though when you think about like this big, unstoppable, relentless force of evil gets stopped by rocks.
But it makes sense for Tommy Doyle because he's obsessing. He's a nerd. He's reading books. He's on the internet. Ooh, the internet. He's doing all kinds of stuff. I believe him outsmarting him with the rune rocks than having a fist fight with Michael.
You know, it almost sounded like you said moon rocks. I know you didn't, but it almost sounded like...
I just want to watch Big Bully, I guess.
But I don't. What I don't get is like, why have the supernatural element to this? You got in this one the curse of Thor and everything is supernatural. It is real because in the end, when Dr. Loomis goes back, Michael's laying on the ground, and it turns out Dr. Wynn is under the mask, and he swapped clothes with Michael. And then when Wynn grabs Loomis's hand, Loomis gets the mark of Thorn on his arm.
So basically, Loomis should have just stayed retired.
Right. But what
I do love the shot of Michael with, like, the fedora. My Michael. And he has the boots, and he walks out in that, like, corridor. I think it's cool. And also makes the scream of Loomis make more sense. Because he's now stuck with this mark. If that's the case, why does Wynn give it to Loomis?
Well, here's the thing I don't understand. Why is Loomis so freaked out? It's almost like he's already been Michael's caretaker. What's different? The only thing that's different is he has a tattoo. What, is he worried that, like, he can't go to heaven if he's buried with a tattoo?
Well, after this movie, he did go to heaven.
That's right.
Because this was one of the last movies he did.
I think this was his final... I think Halloween 6 was Donald Pleasance's final
he may
movie.
have, like, filmed, like, a scene for something else or something like that. But this was definitely... He died, like, less than a year later than when this movie came out. So, yeah.
Talk about... What is it when you retire, they give you a gold watch? This dude didn't get a gold watch. He got, like, a plastic dollar store watch spray painted yellow.
Yeah. So,
Poor guy.
I guess this is the end of the Jamie Lloyd Thorne trilogy.
What are you... Before we move on to the next one, overall, how do you feel about the Thorne trilogy? Like, as far as, like, the movies and the concept.
I always remember there was more Thorne, but there isn't. This is very about Jamie Lloyd, but not really.
It's about Jamie Lloyd until it isn't, and then it isn't about Thorne until it is. It's like the first one is very Jamie, and then it progressively gets more Thorne.
It's clear they had not the same writer. It feels like.
If they did, I'll be surprised. If they have the same writer, I'll be surprised.
Let's move on to the 90s!
Wait a minute, we already are in the 90s.
Oh yeah, no, sorry. So what happens is, in the mid-90s, Scream happens, and then you get movies like I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend. I have a soft spot for these type of movies. So, in like 98, they do Halloween H2O.
20 years later.
You get Jamie Lee Curtis is back as Laurie Strode.
And who would have thought, after all the movies and stuff she did after Halloween and after all her horror movie heyday, if you will, who'd have thought she would come back to the franchise that put her on the map? And you know what? To Jamie Lee Curtis's credit, she did it, and she did the best she possibly could with the studio and the producers and everything she was given. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I think H2O is one of the most underrated movies in the franchise.
I actually really enjoy H2O a lot. Like I said, I like the post-Scream. Post-Scream was like probably 1996 to 2002.
That's fair to say. I would say one till Scream 3 came out.
Okay.
Whenever Scream 3 came out.
2002, 2003, around there, 2001 maybe. The early 2000s is where it ends. It's a real sweet spot because you get the Final Destination. It's a real sweet spot, and I think this does great for the Laurie Strode character. You feel for her. You feel her trauma.
It establishes a life for her. Well, somewhat of a life.
She's very scared. She's in a very locked. She's in a locked school where she's a teacher, and because she's a teacher, she has control. She has control over everything. Her son. So she can keep everything without... It's safe. It's a safe thing. A safe space.
Well, you know what else? She changed her name again.
Yes.
She goes from whatever Myers... I can never remember what her Myers name was. She goes from whatever Myers to Laurie Strode, and now she's what? Was it Carrie Tate?
Carrie Tate, I think, yeah.
Carrie Tate. I know Tate was the last name.
Oh, Cool J's in it.
And he did a good job.
Yes. Josh Hartnett is in it. I think it's one of his first roles.
Yeah.
It's probably one of his first haircuts, too.
I knew you were going to bring that up!
Because...
Every time!
Jesus!
Every time me and him talk H2O, the first thing he always brings up is like, so Josh Hartnett thought that was a look.
He chose that haircut. And what was his girlfriend? Was it Jamie... Jamie... Presley, is that her name? Not Jane Presley. Oh my god, what's her name?
I don't know.
Anyway, Josh Hartnett's girlfriend. She's in a lot of stuff. It's gonna kill me. Anyway,
Oh, Michelle Williams.
Michelle Williams, not Jane Presley. Michelle
Williams. She was just in the Venom movies.
Yes, I like Michelle Williams. She's her hair was extra fleek on this.
Oh yeah.
But like you get the
bring it back.
You have the extra kill, like the brutal kills, the great moment of like she's having visions or whatever. It's not Michael, but then she's looking at like the driveway and she sees Michael walking and she's like, and he keeps walking.
And it's yeah.
Oh, you're like, oh my god, and just like her, like when she's under the tables.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah. The good stuff about the little elevator shaft thing.
Yeah.
Just little things about it, and also probably one of the best Halloween endings. I'm sorry. You have Halloween, Halloween 4, and Halloween H2O as the best endings, where she just straight decapitates him.
Right. Oh, also, this started the 2-film trend of Michael descending from a pipe. It was kind of goofy, but I let it slide for H2O because it was unique. It worked. I don't know where he was hiding from because if you look at it, like, what logic does this make? But you know what? It was fine for that first movie. And then they tried it again in Resurrection, and it did not work. My only real gripe with this movie is the mask. I just feel like the mask itself is fine. I just wish it was a little bigger so you couldn't see his eyes.
They actually wanted the eyes to be seen, so because they wanted the mask to emote. Because that's her brother and stuff like that.
And I get that, but you know, again, I understand what they were doing.
It also kills the logic of
the blackest eyes.
No, that and also kills the logic of Resurrection. The twist of Resurrection of that wasn't Michael Myers. That would give it away, wouldn't it? But I really liked H2O. Sadly, we have to keep going.
All right. And that leads us to Halloween Resurrection, which to its credit, they at least listened to Jamie Lee Curtis because I watched a great Q&A that she did, and if you look it up, it's easy to find, where someone asked her about the ending of H2O and why she did Resurrection. And long story short, she wanted a definitive end. And that's why she wanted to do the thing where Michael gets decapitated. She apparently wanted to do it a little differently. Apparently at the school they were shooting at, they have a retractable pool. So it's like a pool with like a retractable thing, and that's the basketball court. She wanted to have him sandwiched between the basketball court and then decapitate him.
That'd be cool.
That would be very cool. But they kept writing, they wanted to do this like ambiguous ending, and she's like, screw that. And apparently contractually, they were not allowed to kill Michael Myers. So as somewhat of a compromise, they came up with this idea where, okay, we'll end the movie in a way where you and the audience think Michael's dead. And then in the next movie, we'll just do a thing where it turns out it wasn't actually Michael, someone else. I mean, he's done the clothes swap thing before, as we mentioned in part 6. And she's like, okay.
Ironically, everyone's his size.
Yeah. And she's like, the only catch is she said, I will do it, but I have to be in a mental institution because killing an innocent person drove me nuts, and I have to be killed in the first 15 minutes because I'm not doing another one of these
exactly what happens, and once that happens...
The entire movie goes to shit.
The audience does not care.
The movie goes to shit because here's the problem. With H2O, it was literally just Laurie and Michael in that ambulance before everything goes down. She does the deed, cuts his head off. Now, in this one, they go through, excuse me, so much effort to try to make you believe that was a paramedic because Michael apparently attacked the guy just enough to, like, injure him because Michael's known to leave survivors. He also crushed his larynx so he couldn't talk, and then he switched clothes with him. Okay, here's my problem with that. You're telling me he couldn't take the mask off? And be like, I'm not Michael!
Well, his throat's crushed.
No, just take the mask off!
Anyway. I don't want to talk about Resurrection long.
I'm just saying, like, but I'm saying, like, the one thing that makes this movie exist is bullshit.
Scott, that's not the only thing.
Well, Busta Rhymes.
Okay, so here's the reason why Busta Rhymes is the best part of the movie,
and also the worst.
Is because a good example is we brought up the Venom movie. Well, in the Venom movie, everyone plays it straight except for Tom Hardy, and that's what makes it work. Everyone in this movie is playing it straight except for Busta Rhymes. Straight-ish.
There's some goofy shit with the actors, like you said, definitely indicative of that post-Scream era.
There's I'm just gonna go through my list. It's like 3 things. Laurie deserves better, but you know, unlikable characters. Every single person in this is unlikable.
Yeah,
the 2 main girls are Sarah, who has the personality of a wet paper towel. I shouldn't say that because a wet paper towel has an adjective, wet.
And it's useful.
As an adjective. This girl has no adjectives to her. She's there. Her friend is, I forget her name, but she's Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica.
That's a deep cut.
I mean, I'm not really, because Battlestar Galactica was 2004 and this was 2002, so she was right. This is like right before that.
Shut up. It's a deep cut.
It is. Deep cut, cause slasher.
Now you're getting it.
I wrote, it takes 2/3 of the movie for Michael Myers to really do something. And then it takes, like, when there's, like, reached to the point where there's only 20 minutes left in the movie, then people realize, oh Michael Myers is in here.
Yeah.
The whole movie is setting out this Dangertainment, which they do, is this thing, because Hellraiser did Hellworld, is a thing of the internet. Oh my god, fear.com.
Which, for the time, it's not that it's a bad idea, it's just, I don't think anybody did it well.
They didn't do it right. I'll tell you now, Resurrection did not do it well. I don't want to talk Resurrection anymore.
Well, I didn't get, I want to say my piece.
Please.
I think one of the biggest problems with this movie, while unintentionally funny, I think one of the problems with this movie is, while LL Cool J played a character, they just told Busta Rhymes just be Busta Rhymes.
Yes.
And Busta Rhymes is a ridiculous character in real life. And I mean that in a nice way. But, like, he just felt like a fish out of water. He felt like very, you know, like a stranger in paradise. I mean, Tyra Banks fit more in this movie than Busta Rhymes did. I just think you have a movie that is very contractual. This movie, not one bit of this movie felt important. It did not feel, it barely felt like you needed to watch the first movie, like the previous movie, and it never, at no point did it make you feel like there's gonna be another one, or there should be another one.
I think we can sum up the movie in, my last take is, at least Michael, his eyebrows were on fleek.
Yeah. I'll give it a 2-word review. Shit sandwich.